바이블 1311 2 Kings 17 열왕기하 17장을 네이티브 스피커와 함께 읽어보도록 하겠습니다.
Chapter 17. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hoshea son of Elah became king of Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 9 years.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah. In the 12th year, 12년째에 유다왕 아하스, Ahaz, king of Judah. Hoshea son of Elah became king of Israel in Samaria. 그 아하스 왕 12년째 때에 북이스라엘에서는 호세아 son of Elah became king of Israel in Samaria. 이스라엘의 수도 사마리아에서 호세아가 왕이 되었습니다. He reigned 9 years. 호세아 왕은 he reigned 9 years. 9년을 통치했습니다.
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, but not like the kings of Israel who preceded him.
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord. 호세아는 그 여호와 보시기에 악을 행했는데 he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, but not like the kings of Israel who preceded him. 그러나 이스라엘의 그 왕들과 같지 않았는데 preceded him. 그를 앞서 있었던 앞서간 그 호세 앞에 있었던 그 왕들과 같지 않았는데 not like the kings of Israel who preceded him.
Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up to attack Hoshea, who had been Shalmaneser's vassal and had paid him tribute.
Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up to attack Hosea. 이스라엘 그 북쪽에 있는 살마네셀, king of Assyria, 아시리아 왕이 came up to attack 호세아 왕을 공격하려고 왔는데 그 호세아가 who had been Shalmaneser's vassal and had paid him tribute. 왜 그랬냐면은 이스라엘 왕이 살마네셀의 베슬, 그런 이제 신학격이 되는 살마네셀의 베슬이었고 신학격이 되는 해서 had paid him tribute 조공을 말하는데 그 아시리아 살마네셀 왕에게 호세아가 had paid him tribute 조공을 바치는 그런 상황이었는데 아마 안 바치니까 이제 열받아가지고 아시리아 왕이 공격을 하려고 온 모양인데.
But the king of Assyria discovered that Hoshea was a traitor, for he had sent envoys to So, king of Egypt, and he no longer paid tribute to the king of Assyria as he had done year by year. Therefore Shalmaneser seized him and put him in prison.
But the king of Assyria discovered that Hoshea was a traitor. 그러나 아시리아 왕이 discovered that 발견하게 된 것은 호시아 was a traitor. 호시아가 반역했다는 것. trait라는 것을 알았는데 왜냐하면 for he had sent envoys to So king of Egypt. 그 호시아 왕이 had sent envoys 대사들을 누구에게 보냈냐면은 So king of Egypt. 이집트 왕 소에게. 이집트하고 아시리아는 그 이스라엘과 유다 사이에 둔 그 강대국인데 그 자기에게 트리뷰트를 바치던 호세아 왕이 이스라엘의 호세아 왕이 he had sent envoys to So king of Egypt. 그 남쪽에 이집트 왕 소에게 대사를 보내가 거기에 이제 도움을 요청해 가지고 그 이집트의 힘을 빌려 가지고 자기한테 조공을 트리뷰트를 안 바치려고 하니까 and he no longer paid tribute to the king of Assyria. 그래서 더 이상 no longer paid tribute to the king of Assyria 하는 상황이었는데 as he had done year by year 매년마다 year by year as he had done 그 호세아 왕이 해온 대로 이스라엘 호세아 왕이 아시리아에게 he had done as he had done year by year 해오던 대로 하지 않았기 때문에 therefore Shalmaneser seized him and put him in prison. 그래서 이제 아시리아 살마네셀 왕이 seized him, 그를 사로잡아서는 호세아 왕을 사로잡아서는 put him in prison, 감옥에 가두었습니다. put him in prison 했습니다.
The king of Assyria invaded the entire land, marched against Samaria, and laid siege to it for 3 years.
The king of Assyria invaded the entire land. 그래서 아시리아 왕이 invaded the entire land. 온 이스라엘 땅을 침공을 했는데 invaded the entire land. Marched against Samaria and laid siege to it for 3 years. 그 사마리아로 진군을 해서는 행군을 해서는 marched against Samaria and laid siege to it. 그 사마리아를 대해서 laid siege 포위를 했는데 laid siege to it for 3 years. 얼마 동안 포위를 했느냐면은 3년을 장장 for 3 years 동안을 laid siege to it for 3 years.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the
6절에 In the 9th year of Hosea 그 다음부터 하겠습니다.
king of Assyria captured Samaria and deported the Israelites to Assyria. He settled them in Halah, in Gozan on the Habor River, and in the towns of the Medes.
In the 9th year of Hosea, 호세아 왕 9년째, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria. 아시리아 왕 살마네셀이 invaded 해가지고 deported Israelites to Assyria. deported 추방을 했는데 deported Israelites to Assyria. 아시리아로 추방을 했습니다. He settled them in Halah, in Gozan, on the Habor River, and in the towns of Medes. 그들을 살마네셀 왕이 사마리아에서 이스라엘을 추방을 디포티드를 해가지고 그들 어디다가 정착을 시켰느냐? He settled them in Halah, in Gozan, on the Habor River. 그 하볼 강 옆에 있는 할라와 고산에다가 he settled them. 그들을 거기 살도록 했고, in the towns of the Medes. 그거는 이제 메데하고 그 바사가 나오는데, in the towns of the Medes. 메데의 마을에 있는 그곳에다가 아시리아 살마네셀 왕이 이스라엘 사람을 정착을 시켜 디포티드 해가지고.
All this took place because the Israelites had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of Egypt from under the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They worshipped other gods and followed.
All this took place because 이 모든 것이 took place 발생하다 took place. All this took place because the Israelites had sinned against the Lord their God. 왜냐하면은 이스라엘 백성들이 죄를 졌기 때문에 누구에 대해서 against the Lord their God. 이스라엘 그들의 하나님 여호와에 대항해서 had sinned. 죄를 졌기 때문이라고 열왕기서 기사는 기록하는데 그 여호와 하나님이 누구냐? Who had brought them up out of Egypt from under the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. brought them up. 그들을 데리고 나온 brought them up 어디로부터? out of Egypt. 이집트로부터 brought them up 했던 그 여호와 하나님에 대해서 죄를 졌기 때문에 from under the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. 그 바로왕 이집트의 그 권력으로부터 그들을 brought them up out of Egypt 했던 그 하나님에게 대항했기 때문에 they worshipped other gods. 그들이 또 they worshipped other gods. 다른 신들에게 예배를 드렸는데
The practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before them, as well as the practices that the kings of Israel had introduced.
그리고 follow the practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before them. 어떤 행위를 따랐느냐? Follow the practices of the nations. 열방들의 행위, the practices of the nations를 따랐는데 그 열방들의 행위는 어떤 것이냐면 the Lord had driven out before them. 여호와께서 그들 앞에서 쫓아내신 그 민족들의 그 행위를 따라갔는데 거기다가 그것뿐만 아니라 as well as the practices that the kings of Israel had introduced. The practices 그 행위 데디아의 그 행위 that the kings of Israel had introduced. 이스라엘 왕들이 had introduced 했던 그러한 행위에 더해서 그 열방들의 the practices of the nations들의 행위를 따라했기 때문에 다른 신들을 섬겼기 때문에
The Israelites secretly did things against the Lord their God that were not right. From watchtower to fortified city, they built themselves high places in all their towns.
The Israelites secretly did things against the Lord their God that were not right. 그 이스라엘 백성들이 secretly, 비밀리 secretly하게 did things 이러한 것을 했는데 against the Lord their God, 그들의 하나님에 반하여서 that were not right, 그것이 옳지 않았는데 그것을 secretly하게 secretly did things against the Lord their God that were not right, 옳지 않은 것, that were not right 한 것을 행했는데 From watchtower to fortified city, they built themselves high places in all their towns. watchtower, 파수대를 말하는데, from watchtower to fortified city, 파수대로부터 요새 이르기까지, fortified city, 요새 이르기까지, they built themselves high places. 그들 스스로 뭘 건축했느냐 하면은 high places, 산당을 high places를 건축을 하고 in all their towns, 그들의 모든 타운에도 high places를 건축을 해가지고
They set up sacred stones and Asherah poles on every high hill and under every spreading tree.
They set up sacred stones and Asherah poles on every high hill and under every spreading tree. 그들이 뭐를 세웠느냐 하면은 set up sacred stones, 성스러운 돌, sacred stones와 아세라 폴즈를 set up하고 on every high hill, 모든 그 high hill, 높은 그 산지가 있으면 거기다가 high hill에, 높은 언덕에 on every high hill, 그리고 under every spreading tree, 상수리 나무 아래에 under every spreading tree에 그들이 sacred stones와 아세라 폴즈를 거기다가 세워가지고 거기다가 하나님이 아닌 자기들이 원하는 것을 거기다가 이제 비는 그러한 기원하는 그러한 이제 상황이 발생을 했는데
At every high place they burned incense as the nations whom the Lord had driven out before them had done. They did wicked things that provoked the Lord to anger.
At every high place they burned incense. every high places에서 they burned incense, 향을 불태우고 as the nations whom the Lord had driven out before them had done. 무엇처럼 했냐면은 열방 다른 민족들이 하는 것처럼 as the nations, 그 민족들을 whom the Lord had driven out before them had done. 여호와께서 그들 앞에서 driven out 했던 그 민족들이 had done, 행한 것처럼 그렇게 they burned incense하고 they did wicked things that provoked the Lord to anger. 그들이 they did wicked things, 악한 일들을 wicked things를 행했는데 그것은 provoked the Lord to anger. provoked, 격발시켰는데 여호와를 provoked, 격발시켰습니다. provoked the Lord to anger.
They worshipped idols, though the Lord had said, "You shall not do this."
They worshipped idols, though the Lord had said, "You shall not do this." They worshipped idols. 그들이 우상들에게 worshipped. They worshipped idols. 우상들을 worship했는데 예배했는데, though 뭘 함에도 불구하고, though the Lord had said, 여호와께서 이렇게 말했음에도 불구하고, though the Lord had said, "You shall not do this." You shall not do this. 너가 그렇게 그 우상들을 예배해서는 안 된다. You shall not do this. 그렇게 얘기했음에도 불구하고.
The Lord warned Israel and Judah through all his prophets and seers, "Turn from your evil ways. Observe my commands and decrees in accordance with the entire law that I commanded your fathers to obey and that I delivered to you through my servants, the prophets."
The Lord warned Israel and Judah through all his prophets and seers. 여호와께서 이스라엘과 유다에 경고를 하셨는데 The Lord warned Israel and Judah. 누구를 통해서? Through all his prophets and seers. 모든 선지자들, prophets, 선지자와 seers, 선견자들을 통해서 뭐라고 경고를 하셨느냐면은 Turn from your evil ways, observe my commands and decrees in accordance with the entire law that I commanded your fathers to obey and that I delivered to you through my servants the prophets. 이렇게 이제 경고를 했는데 turn from your evil ways. 악한 길에서 돌아서고 observe my commands and decrees. observe, 지켜라, observe 해라. observe my commands and decrees. 나의 계명들과 율례를 지키라. 뭐에 따라서? in accordance with the entire law. 모든 율법, the entire law, entire law에 따라서 그 entire law는 that I commanded your fathers to obey. 너의 조상들에게 복종하라고 내가 명한 그 율법을 the entire law에 따라서 그렇게 살아라. And that I delivered to you. 그리고 내가 너에게 구원을 주었던 through my servants the prophets. 그 선지자들, 내 종 선지자들을 통해서 내가 I delivered to you. 너에게 구원을 줬던 그 선지자들의 말을 따라서 살아라. 그렇게 했는데
But they would not listen and were as stiff-necked as their fathers who did not trust in the Lord their God.
But they would not listen. 그들이 would not listen. 들으려고 하지 않았고 were as stiff-necked as their fathers. 그리고 as stiff-necked. stiff 하면은 꼿꼿한 stiff-necked. 목이 꼿꼿한 stiff-necked as their fathers. 그들의 조상들처럼 목이 꼿꼿한 그러한 사람이 되었고 who did not trust in the Lord their God. 그의 조상들은 who did not trust in the Lord their God. 그들의 하나님 여호와를 trust, did not trust, 믿지 않았던 조상들처럼 그렇게 stiff-necked, 목이 곧은 stiff-necked한 그런 백성이 되었다.
They rejected his decrees and the covenant he had made with their fathers and the warnings he had given them. They followed worthless idols and themselves became worthless. They imitated the nations around them, although the Lord had ordered them, do not do as they do. And they did the things the Lord had forbidden them to do.
They rejected his decrees and the covenant he had made with their fathers and the warnings he had given them. 그들이 rejected 했는데 무시했는데 his decrees 그의 계명들과 the covenant 언약들을 he had made with their fathers 그 조상들과 had made with 그것을 맺었던 decrees와 covenant를 rejected 했다. 그리고 the warnings 그 경고들도 무시했는데 he had given them 그들에게 주었던 he had given them 했던 warnings도 무시하고 They followed worthless idols and themselves became worthless. 그들이 worthless idols, 무가치한 우상들을 따라가고 그리고 그들 스스로 themselves became worthless. 그 무가치한 우상들처럼 worthless 하게 되었다. became worthless. themselves became worthless. They imitated the nations around them, although the Lord had ordered them. 그들이 imitated, 그들이 이제 모방을 했는데 imitated 했는데 the nations around them, 그들 주위에 있는 민족들을 imited하고 although the Lord had ordered them, 여호와께서 그들에게 명하셨음에도 불구하고 they imitated the nations around them. Do not do as they do. Do not do as they do. 그들이 하는 것처럼 하지 말라고 그렇게 했는데 they imitated the nations around them. And they did the things the Lord had forbidden them to do. 그리고는 they did the things. 그들이 그것을 했는데 여호와께서 금하신 the Lord had forbidden them to do. 여호와께서 had forbidden them to do. 그들에게 해서는 안 하는 것을 forbidden, had forbidden, 금한 것들을 했다. had forbidden them to do 한 것을 했다.
They forsook all the commands of the Lord their God and made for themselves two idols cast in the shape of calves and an Asherah pole. They bowed down to all the starry hosts and they worshipped Baal.
They forsook all the commands of the Lord their God. 그들이 forsake, 버리다는 뜻인데 forsoook했다. All the commands of the Lord their God. 그들의 하나님 여호와의 명령을, 모든 명령을 they forsook, 버리고 and made for themselves two idols cast in the shape of calves. 그리고는 그들 스스로를 위해서 만들었는데 two idols cast, 부은 그 두 개의 two idols, 우상을 in the shape of calves, 송아지 모양으로 in the shape of calves로 만들었는데 이건 아마 그 여로보암, 이스라엘 여로보암이 제일 북쪽의 단과 단과 그 남쪽의 보엘세바의 그 금송아지 만든 그걸 말하는 것 같은데, 그 in the shape of calves로 two idols cast. 그 부어 만든 두 우상을 그렇게 그들 자신을 위해서 만들었다. and an Asherah pole. 그리고 아세라상을 만들고 they bowed down to all the stately hosts. 그들이 they bowed down to all the stately hosts. 그 1월 성신 별들을 보고 all the stars 모든 별들을 보고 점성을 해가지고 그거를 따라가는 점을 쳐서 하늘의 운세를 보고 따라가는 그것을 했고 they worshipped Baal. 그들이 바알을 섬겼다.
They sacrificed their sons and daughters in the fire. They practiced divination and sorcery and sold themselves to do evil in the eyes of the Lord, provoking him to anger.
They sacrificed their sons and daughters in the fire. 그들의 their sons and daughters 아들들과 딸들을 바치기도 했는데 sacrificed in the fire 불에 들어가서 자기들이 가장 소중히 여기는 것을 바치면은 자기들이 뭐 국가가 번성한다든지 전쟁에서 이긴다든지 그런 이제 미션이 있어서 they sacrificed their sons and daughters in the fire. They practiced divination and sorcery and sold themselves to do evil in the eyes of the Lord, provoking him to anger. 그들이 뭐를 했느냐? practiced divination, 점술과 sorcery, 점술들을 sorcery나 divination을 행하고 sold themselves to do evil. 그 악을 행하는데 그 자신을 팔았는데 in the eyes of the Lord, 여호와 앞에서 provoking him to anger. 그래서 provoking him to anger, 여호와를 격발케 했다. provoking him to anger.
So the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them from his presence. Only the tribe of Judah was left, and even
So the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them from his presence. 그래서 the Lord was very angry 했고 with Israel, 이스라엘에 대해서 removed them from his presence. 그들을 remove 했는데 from his presence. 그 여호와 앞으로부터 그 여호와 앞에서 여호와의 면전에서 remove them. 그들을 이제 없이 했다. Only the tribe of Judah was left. 그래서 단지 only the tribe of Judah, 유다 지파만 was left. 남게 되었다. 나머지 한 지파가 위에 북쪽에 있고 유다 남쪽에 이제 남쪽 유다 지파가 남쪽에 있었는데 그래서 남쪽 유다라고 그러는데 only the tribe of Judah was left. 유다만 그렇게 남게 되었다.
when Judah did not keep the commands of the Lord their God, they followed the practices Israel had introduced.
그리고 even Judah did not keep the commands of the Lord their God. 유다조차도 did not keep the commands of the Lord their God. 그들의 하나님 여호와의 명령을 did not keep 하지 않았다. 지키지를 않았다. They followed the practices Israel had introduced. 그 유다도 they followed the practices. 그 행위들을 따라갔는데 Israel had introduced. 이스라엘이 introduced 했던, 이스라엘이 보여줬던, 이스라엘이 소개해줬던, 그 말은 이스라엘이 보여줬던, Israel had introduced 했던 그것을 그 practices들을 따라갔다.
Therefore the Lord rejected all the people of Israel. He afflicted them and gave them into the hands of the plunderers until he thrust them from his presence.
Therefore the Lord rejected all the people of Israel. 그래서 여호와께서 all the people of Israel rejected 했고 he afflicted them and gave them into the hands of plunderers. 그가 그 afflicted them 그들에게 가하다 아주 그것을 해를 가했는데 afflicted 했는데 afflicted them gave them into 그들은 누구의 손에 줬느냐 gave them into the hands of plunderers. plunderers 하면 노략하는 전쟁에서 노략하는 자들 plunderers 노략하는 자들에게 침략자들에게 그것을 gave them into the hands of plunderers. plunderers들에게 줬다. 언제까지? Until he thrust them from his presence. 그가 여호와께서 thrust them 그들을 넣을 때까지 thrust them 할 때까지 from his presence 그의 면전에서 그를 이렇게 thrust them thrust them. 그들을 그 thrust them, thrust 할 때까지, 그들을 던져서 거기에서 할 때까지, 던질 때까지. He thrust them from his presence.
When he tore Israel away from the house of David, they made Jeroboam son of Nebat their king. Jeroboam enticed Israel away from following the Lord and caused them to commit a great sin.
When he tore Israel away from the house of David, they made Jeroboam son of Nebat their king. When he tore Israel away, tore away, 찢는다는 것인데, tore Israel away, 이스라엘을 찢었을 때, from the house of David, 다윗의 집안으로부터 이스라엘을 찢었을 때에, they made Jeroboam son of Nebat their king. 이제 이스라엘이 다윗, 솔로몬 다음에 북쪽 이스라엘 르호보암, 남쪽 이스라엘 여로보암 이렇게 나눠지게 되는데 그들이 찢었을 때야 they made Jeroboam son of Nebat their king. 느밧의 아들 여로보암이 북쪽이고 르호보암이 이제 남쪽 왕인데 제로보암을 느밧의 아들 제로보암을 왕으로 삼았고 제로보암 enticed Israel away from following the Lord and caused them to commit a great sin. 북쪽의 그 여로보암, 느밧의 아들 여로보암이 enticed Israel, 그들을 끼웠다는 건데 enticed Israel away from following the Lord. 여호와를 따르는 것으로부터 그들을 깨어내어 가지고 enticed Israel away 해서는 caused them to commit a great sin. 그들로 하여금 commit a great sin, 큰 죄를 짓게 했다. 그 죄는 이제 이 하나님의 모세를 통해서 명한 그 율법대로 정하지 않고 북쪽에 단과 그 남쪽에 이제 베델에다가 그 in the shape of calves 그것으로 해서 two idols를 만들어서 섬기게 만든 그런 죄를 짓게 했다.
The Israelites persisted in all the sins of Jeroboam and did not turn away from them until
The Israelites persisted in all the sins of Jeroboam and did not turn away from them. 이스라엘 백성들이 persisted in all the sins of Jeroboam. 여로보암의 죄를 지속을 했고 did not turn away from them. 그것으로부터 did not turn away.
Lord removed them from his presence, as he had warned through all his servants the prophets. So the people of Israel were taken from their homeland into exile in Assyria, and they are still there.
Until the Lord removed them from his presence. 언제까지 그걸 했느냐면은 여호와께서 until the Lord removed them from his presence. 그의 면전에서 그들을 없이 할 때까지. As he had warned through all his servants the prophets. 여호와께서 all his servants the prophets 그의 종 선지자들을 모든 선지자들을 통해서 다 경고한 것처럼 so the people of Israel were taken from their homeland into exile in Assyria. 그래서 이스라엘 백성들이 were taken from 어디로부터 이제 옮겨졌는데 were taken from their homeland into exile in Assyria. 그들의 고향 땅 홈랜드로부터 어디로 into exile. 거기서 추방된 이제 추방자가 됐는데 exile in Assyria. 아시리아로 추방이 되게 되었습니다. And they are still there. 그리고 그들이 they are still there. 여전히 이제 그 아시리아에서 살게 되고
The king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cuthah, Avah, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, and settled them in the towns of Samaria to replace the Israelites. They took over Samaria and lived in its towns.
The king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cuthah, Avah, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, and settled them in the towns of Samaria to replace the Israelites. 그 아시리아 왕이 사마리아 북이스라엘을 해서는 그들을 brought people 어디로부터 사람들을 사마리아 데려오냐면은 바벨론이나 쿠사나 아바나 하마 세파바임 이런 여러 도시들로부터 데려와서는 settle them in the towns of Samaria. 사마리아에 거주하게 하는데 settle them 그들을 settle하게 하는데 왜 그렇게 하냐면은 to replace the Israelites. 이스라엘 사람들을 replace 교체하기 위해서 그 사마리아의 이스라엘 사람들만 살고 있으면 다시 또 반란이 일어나니까 그 혼합 정책을 민족적 혼합 정책을 제하는데 to replace the Israelites, they took over Samaria and lived in its towns. 그들이 사마리아를 took over 접수를 하고는 took over Samaria and lived in its towns. 거기에 살게 되었습니다.
When they first lived there, they did not worship the Lord, so he sent lions among them and they killed some of the people.
When they first lived there, 그들이 거기에 처음 이제 살게 됐을 때, they did not worship the Lord. 그 여호와를 섬기지 않았고, so he sent lions among them and they killed some of the people. 그래서 여호와께서 sent lions among them. 그들 가운데 사자들을 보내어서 they killed some of the people. 그 사자들이 그들 중에 일부를 죽였습니다. 그게 이제 다른 나라에서 와서 다른 도시에서 와서 사마리아에 살고 있는 사람들을 they killed some of the people. 사자들이 죽이게 됐는데
It was reported to the king of Assyria, the people you deported and resettled in the towns of Samaria do not know what the God of that country requires. He has sent lions among them which are killing them off because the people do not know what he requires.
It was reported to the king of Assyria. 그것이 이제 아시리아 왕에게 보고가 됐는데 it was reported to the king of Assyria. 뭐라고 보고가 됐느냐? The people you deported and resettled in the towns of Samaria do not know what the God of that country requires. 거기 당신이 deported 해가지고 그 사마리아로 간 사람도 이제 추방을 이제 서로 추방을 한 모양인데 the people you deported 그리고는 resettled in the towns of Samaria. 사마리아에 정착한 사람들이 do not know what the God of that country requires. 그 나라가 요구하는 것을 그들이 알지를 못한다. 그 나라의 그 신을 알지를 못해가지고 He has sent lions among them. 그 신이 He has sent lions among them. 그들 가운데 사자들을 보내서 which are killing them off. 그 사자들이 그들을 죽였다. which are killing them off. 왜냐하면 because the people do not know what it requires. 그 백성들이 거기에 do not know what it requires. 그 신들이 요구하는 것이 뭔지를 몰라가지고 그런 일이 발생했다고 그 해석을 이제 그렇게 해석을 하고 있는데.
Then the king of Assyria gave this order. Have one of the priests you took captive from Samaria go back to live there and teach the people what the God of the land requires.
Then the king of Assyria gave this order. 그래서 the king of Assyria가 아시리아 왕이 gave this order 이런 명령을 주기를 have one of the priests you took captive from Samaria go back to live there. have 사역동사 하게 해라. have one of the priests 제사장들 중에 한 사람을 you took captive from Samaria 사마리아로부터 포로로 captive로 데리고 온 취한 그 제사장 중에 한 사람 one of the priests를 go back to live there 도로 사마리아로 가게 해서 살게 해라. 그리고 teach the people what the God of the land requires. 그 백성들을 가르쳐라. what the God of the land requires. 그 땅에 신들이 requires 뭘 요청하는지 그 땅에서 여호와를 섬긴다고 했는데 그 여호와라는 신이 what the God of the land requires 하는지를 가르쳐가지고 다시는 사고가 발생하지 않도록 그렇게 해라.
So one of the priests who had been exiled from Samaria came to live in Bethel and taught them how to worship the Lord.
So one of the priests who had been exiled from Samaria came to live in Bethel. 그래서 그 제사장 중에 한 명 사마리아에 살던 one of the priests가 who had been exiled from Samaria, 사마리아로부터 추방이 됐던 exiled 됐던 그 one of the priests가 came to live in Bethel, 베델에 가서 살게 됐는데 그리고는 taught them how to worship the Lord. 그들에게 가르치기를 how to worship the Lord. 여호와를 어떻게 섬길지를 그들에게 taught them, 가르쳤습니다.
Nevertheless, each national group made its own gods in the several towns where they settled and set them up in the shrines the people of Samaria had made at the high places.
Nevertheless, each national group made its own gods in the several towns where they settled. 그럼에도 불구하고, nevertheless, each national group이 made its own gods. 자신들의 신들을 만들고는 in the several towns, 그 여러 타운에서 where they settled, 그들이 거주하는 곳에서 in the several towns에서 그 each national group이 made its own gods, 자신들의 신들을 마르고 set them up in the shrines the people of Samaria had made at the high places. 그것을 만들어서는 set them up in the shrines, 산당에다가 그것을 set them up 하고 the people of Samaria had made, 그 사마리아 백성들이 그 만든 그 산당에다가 그것을 세우고, 사마리아 사람들이 이제 하이 플레이스로 많이 세워가지고 그걸 여러 곳에 세워가지고 그런 거기다가 세크리파이스도 하고 번드 인센스 했다 했는데, 그거를 이제 그 장소를 그 슈라인즈를 자기들의 신을 섬기는 곳으로 이용을 했는데 at the high places에서.
The men from Babylon made Succoth-Benoth. The men from Cuthah made Nergal. The men from Hamath made Ashima.
The men from Babylon made Succoth-Benoth. 이렇게 여러 어떤 신들을 섬겼는지가 쭉 열거가 되는데, The men from Cuthah made Nergal. 그 쿠타로부터 온 사람들은 네르갈 신. The men from Hamath made Ashima. 하마스로부터 온 사람은 아시마.
The Abites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burned their children in the fire as sacrifices to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of Sepharvaim.
The Abites made Nibhaz and Tartak. 아바이스에서 온 사람은 닙하스와 탈탁을, 세파바이스는 burned their children in the fire. 세파바이스는 그들의 자녀들을 불에 이렇게 태워서 제사를 as a sacrifices, 희생 제물로 드리고 to 아드라멜렉과 아남멜렉에게 그 자녀를 바치는 세파바이스였고, the gods of Sepharvaim.
They worshipped the Lord, but they also appointed all sorts of their own people to officiate for them as priests in the shrines at the high places.
They worship the Lord. 그들이 여호와도, 다른 우상도 하지만 여호와도 섬기는데, but they also appointed all sorts of their own people to officiate for them as a priest in the shrines at the high places. 그러나 그들이 또한 그 임명을 they also appointed, 임명을 appointed를 하는데 all sorts of their own people, 그 자신의 백성, 모든 종류의 백성들이 to officiate for them, 그들을 위해서 officiate 해서 as a priest, 그 제사장들로 공식화시켜서는 in the shrines에서 at the high places, at the high places에 있는 in the shrines에서 officiate for them as a priest 하는 일들을 저지르게 됐습니다.
They worshipped the Lord, but they also served their own gods in accordance with the customs of the nations from which they had been brought.
They worshipped the Lord. 그들이 이제 여호와도 섬기게 되고, but they also served their own gods. 그들 자신의 신들도 섬기고, in accordance with the customs of the nations. 열방들의 전통의 관습에 따라서, from which they had been brought. 열방들로부터 from which they had been brought, 그들이 가지고 온 그러한 신들을 섬겼습니다.
To this day they persist in their former practices. They neither worship the Lord nor adhere to the decrees and ordinances, the laws and commands that the Lord gave the descendants of Jacob, whom he named Israel.
To this day they persist in their former practices. 오늘날까지 그들이 persist in their former practices 했고, they neither worship the Lord nor adhere to the decrees and ordinances, the laws and commands that the Lord gave the descendants of Jacob. 그들이 neither worship the Lord, 여호와도 섬기지 않고, nor adhere to the decrees and ordinances, 그 율법과 decrees와 ordinances나 the laws나 그 commands를 adhere to 하면은 그게 이제 붙어 있는 건데, 그것을 adhere, 그것을 이제 지키려고 하지 않았고, 그것은 that the Lord gave the descendants of Jacob, 야곱의 후손들에게, 여호와께서 야곱의 후손들에게 주었던, 그 야곱은 whom he named Israel, 그 이름을 이스라엘로 해서 야곱이 이스라엘이 되어서 그것을 여호와께서 언약을 주셨는데 그것을 지키지를 않았다.
when the Lord made a covenant with the Israelites, he commanded them, do not worship any other gods or bow down to them, serve them or sacrifice to them.
When the Lord made a covenant with the Israelites, he commanded them. 여호와께서 made a covenant with the Israelites. 이스라엘 백성들과 made a covenant, 언약을 맺을 때에 he commanded them. 그들에게 명하기를 do not worship any other gods. 다른 신들을 섬기지 말고 bow down to them. 그들에게 절하지 말라. serve them or sacrifice to them. 그들을 섬기지 말고 그들에게 sacrifice, 예물을 바치지 마, sacrifice, 희생제물을 드리지 말라고 했는데
But the Lord who brought you up out of Egypt with mighty power and outstretched arm is the one you must worship. To him you shall bow down and to him offer sacrifices.
But the Lord who brought you up out of Egypt with mighty power and outstretched arm. 그러나 여호와 그가 brought up 너희를 데리고 나온 brought you up out of Egypt 이집트로부터 with mighty power와 outstretched arm 편팔로서 outstretched arm으로서 너희를 brought you up 한 그 여호와 is the one you must worship. 그래서 그분이 바로 그분이다. You must worship. 너희가 예배드려야 될 분이다. To him you shall bow down and to him offer sacrifices. 그에게만 you shall bow down 하고 to him 그에게만 offer sacrifices 해라.
You must always be careful to keep the decrees and ordinances, the laws and commands he wrote for you. Do not worship other gods.
You must always be careful to keep the decrees and ordinances, the laws and commands he wrote for you. 너는 항상 be careful, 주의해야 된다. To keep the decrees, 율례와 ordinances와 the laws, 율법, 그 계명과 commands, 명령들 he wrote for you, 너희를 위하여서 쓴 do not worship other gods, 다른 신들을 섬기지 말라고 했는데
Do not forget the covenant I have made with you and do not worship other gods.
Do not forget the covenant. 그 covenant, 언약을 잊지 말라. I have made with you. 내가 너희와 함께 만든 그 언약. Do not worship other gods.
Rather, worship the Lord your God. It is He who will deliver you from the hand of all your enemies.
Rather, worship the Lord. 대신에 worship the Lord your God. 너희 하나님 여호와를 경배하고 It's He who will deliver you from the hand of all your enemies. It is He, 바로 그가, 바로 그다. It is He who will deliver you. 너희를 구원할 자는 바로 그이기 때문에, 여호와이기 때문에 from the hand of all your enemies. 너희 모든 원수들로부터 구원할 자는 바로 여호와이기 때문에 그만 섬겨라.
They would not listen, however, but persisted in their former practices.
They would not listen, however, 그들이 would not listen, 들으려고 하지 않았고, persisted in their former practices. 그들의 former practices를 지속을 했다. persisted in their former practices.
Even while these people were worshipping the Lord, they were serving their idols. To this day, their children and grandchildren continue to do as their fathers did.
Even while these people were worshiping the Lord, 그들이 while 뭘 하는 동안에도 these people were worshiping the Lord, 여호와를 섬기는 그러한 가운데에서도 they were serving their idols. 그들의 우상들을 섬겼고 to this day, 오늘날까지 their children and grandchildren continue to do as their fathers did. 그들의 자녀와 grandchildren, 손자들까지 continue to do, 그것을 계속했는데 as their fathers did. 그들의 조상들이 한 것처럼 그런 일들을 계속 그 우상 숭배를 하지 말라고 했는데 그것을 계속 해왔다.